What's up, and welcome to episode 24 of Brewing Through the Multiverse. I am Mike, and we have a new co-host here. Introduce yourself.
I'm Keldon.
Yeah, so Joel is away at a wedding. He was not going to be able to record. Because I had to cancel last week's episode, I wanted to make sure an episode still happened. Keldon was ready to get on board with this. And then apparently Joel might be craving the multiverse enough to record with me tomorrow. So there might be 2 episodes this week. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Heck yeah, got to make up for last week. But anyway, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
Very good. What are you drinking over there?
I've got a Purple Monkey dishwasher by Evil Genius.
All right. Is it
good?
Good?
It's delicious. It's a peanut butter porter.
Oh, damn. Okay. Nice. There it is. I got some Brick City Brewing over here. I got Set Break, juicy and crushable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, nice single IPA. Is it a single? Yeah, just a single.
Not getting too crazy tonight?
Yeah. Keep it nice and light. And then my other drink is I have a cotton candy cider.
Oh, nice.
So tasty. I'm really a fan of that one. But all right, so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Why don't we introduce? So I've been playing Magic with you as long as I have been playing with Joel. We all met at Marco Rama's over there in Newton. And that was really my first time playing paper. I don't know how much longer you played before we had met. So why don't you tell us, when did you start playing and what do you do with it?
So I started playing originally during the original Ravnica block. I think it was right after Guild Pack had come out when I started playing. And my cousin played at the time and got me into it. And at that point, I was playing over in Hobbytown in Newton, which doesn't even exist anymore. So I played a bit then. I was playing Standard for a while, going to F&Ms. And then I played for several years after that. Then I kind of fell out of it. I picked it back up around, original Innistrad, and played a little bit then. Got some cards again, was messing around with it, and then kind of fell back out of it. Then walked into Marco Rama's because he was doing a sealed league that definitely didn't really work out. But I started playing there and got back into Standard, and then learned Commander and have been playing ever since.
That's wild. So you've been dabbling, but really, again, Marco Rama's was where it all clicked. You know, it's the origin story for a lot of us. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. We had a good group there. A lot of guys who hadn't played or had barely played. When we started, I was probably one of the most experienced players, but hadn't really played in like 5 years. So there was a lot of everyone learning or relearning the game and how to build decks and how to play correctly and not make a ton of stupid mistakes.
Yeah, so many mistakes, dude. Those were the best mistakes of like not knowing how to block properly or how to divide multiple blockers and
even stack your triggers the right way. Yeah,
I didn't even know priority existed. I thought just like the stack was complicated, and then I realized that there's priority on top of it.
Then there's priority. That was a good time because we had a lot of people who were playing at the same power level and learning together, and it was a great way for a lot of people to get into the game.
Yeah. So what kind of mage are you? What is your color preferences, and what do you like to do in Magic?
I have been known to be an elf player. I would say I am heavily skewed towards green, but I dabble in some black and some white as well.
Yeah. That's very accurate. Definitely the elf player. I've seen you play elves in every format that we've ever done, from Pauper to Legacy to Commander, all of it. And
The only
you
formats
always
that I
kill me.
haven't played elves in are like historic and vintage, and that might be it. I've
How about
played
Brawl?
quite a bit
You
of
playing
elves.
Brawl?
I not currently, but I have played elves in Brawl.
Okay, there
I've
it
played
is.
elves, multiple versions of elves in Brawl, historic Brawl, regular Brawl.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited. I'm excited to play some Brawl. Once they get multiplayer on Arena, that's how
oh,
I'll get people into
I'll
it.
be putting some effort into a Brawl deck once we can do multiplayer.
That's what I'm talking about. So, have you been playing the Thunder Junction at all? Have you done any constructed, limited, anything like that?
So I hadn't been, and then you messaged me yesterday, and we were like, "Hey, do you want to do the podcast?" And I was like, "Cool, I should probably play some Thunder Junction because I haven't really played any with it." Um, so I've done. I've attempted uh, 3 drafts and 1 pre-release, and my conclusion is I am bad at limited. I think out of the pre-release, I won 1 game, and the between the 3 drafts, I won 7 total, 6 or 7
Okay.
total. Uh, I thought I should be doing way better when I'm like building my deck. I'm like, I got great cards. This is gonna be awesome. My first pool, I got an Anguished Unmaking and a Path to Exile. I was like, I can't lose. I have the best removal that I could possibly have. I was playing stuff that I felt comfortable playing. That one was a green-white splash black. Um, it felt comfortable for me, and then just got stomped.
Yeah, I felt very much the same way. So I've done 5 sealed pools, 5 sealed events, and 1 draft. And this is my jam. I am a limited player. It's where I
Yeah.
perform my best. I can normally go 2 out of 3, or even take first on pre-release nights. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just absolutely getting trampled, man. I really, I don't want to say it's my play style, and I feel like I know how to build a deck. You get your removal and everything. I think it's
Right.
just the new packs, the play packs, have
It's way
so many
different.
rares and power, and the fact that there's
It's
bonus sheet and
Yep.
dude, it's just there's so
Yeah.
every card is a good card. They're
Yeah.
all good. So
It's even the uncommons are just so much more powerful than they used to be. Commons are way more powerful than they used to be. That
yeah,
it every deck I played against, I was like, this is a pre-release deck. This is a draft deck. Like it seems to work way too well.
yeah, and and it works both ways, because like I'm doing amazing stuff, and I'm still not quite winning.
Yeah.
Um, But I do have to say, after playing so much sealed and then going to limited, I think to draft is where it's at.
Mhm.
You can kind of really correlate a nice deck with a draft, but the
Yes.
sealed, it was just piles of power that you didn't know what to do
Oh
with.
yeah. No, it was. I definitely. There's a reason I only did 1 pre-release because that was not enjoyable for me. The draft was definitely more fun.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, and I don't want to complain or blame it on anything, but my pools were actual trash.
Right.
My very first pool was 2 different 3-colored cards that didn't even share, a whole bunch of 2-color cards that didn't pair up with any of the 3 or the 2, and then a land.
Right.
And there was nothing I could do. I had like 8, rares, and couldn't put more than
Yep.
2 or 3 of them together. Um, so I'll blame it on that for now. Next week
Yeah,
we're talking.
absolutely. It's not
We'll
your
see.
fault. It's the cards.
Damn straight.
Blame RNG.
Yeah, yeah. It's the algorithms of the program.
Yeah, it's all
Actually,
the
Arena is set
algorithms.
up. Yeah, skewed.
Yep.
Knows I didn't buy the season pass, but
No.
yeah, I don't buy the season pass. I also don't buy packs. All I do is draft.
I
All
won't.
my money is drafting.
Yep. I like I said, I did the 3 and the 1, and that was all of my currency I had, and I was like, well, I guess that's all I'm doing because 1, I didn't have the time to do much more, but 2, I was like, I'm not dumping money into this right now. It's not my
Yeah.
format. If I get back into Brawl, then I might dump some money into it, some get cards I need for Brawl. But
Yeah. This is my nighttime routine. I play every night and I have forever. And now it's just stuck in. And I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but I have a Magic and Back Rub night um, where every night while I play Magic before I go to bed, I have to rub my wife's back. And it's now like habit. So like it's embedded to where even if I don't want to play Magic, now she's incentivized for me to be like, hey Michael, don't you want to play some Magic?
you gonna play Magic
While I'm playing. Yeah, it's just
Yep.
place over my back. So
Nice.
yeah, so I play a lot of it. I keep up with all the rares and the stuff, but try not to put money into it. Although I bought the what in tarnation and the yeehaw emotes and all that stuff. Like,
Did you? Nice.
I couldn't
Nice.
help it. I love throwing emotes in the games, and those are some good ones. So
Nice. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, one of my biggest issues with Arena is just that you're so limited with your communication. Like, I wish there was some way to actually talk to your opponent, because that's the biggest thing I miss from paper Magic playing Arena is you're limited to how much you can interact with them.
yeah, I know a lot of it is trolling, but the emotes do help a little bit
Right.
to at least get some points across.
Yeah.
But it would be a lot of trolling. It would be,
Absolutely.
Call of Duty,
Absolutely.
chats. So I get it. You can't have that. But also, yeah, I don't know, maybe like a heavily modded like text chat,
A lot of censorship would have to happen. Certain
Yeah,
words
yeah, and you'll
you
always get
can't
around it.
use. And, oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't send an
Absolutely.
eggplant. Come on.
No, what do you mean? An eggplant and water droplets? What?
Yeah. That was the best, having to type everything with like zeros and threes in order to get past stuff.
Equal sign, equal sign, equal sign.
Yeah. Now they got AI. AI won't let any of that happen.
Nope. Now, so what is your thoughts on some of the new mechanics now that you've played with them? Because like
Oof.
I was surprised by some of them, and I've found myself to be disappointed with others.
Okay. So all right, yeah, let's actually go over because they all played very differently than I thought it was gonna. So let's start with Saddled, because Saddled is kind of the one that I was most hesitant about.
I was disappointed with Saddled. I thought it was a waste. I was like, it's crew but worse. Like, is it anything but that? Like, I was talking to our friend Nick about it, and he was saying when he played in the pre-release, it actually messed him up because the way Saddle works is usually you don't get the benefits until your attack trigger.
Yes.
So you saddle, you go to combat, you don't get the benefits till you attack, and it actually ended up messing him up because he was expecting like he'd get the triggers when the creature was saddled, not when it attacked. And I was like, it sounds like it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's, you saddle your creature, you still have to swing with it. And a lot of the board right now, I mean, the creatures are out of control. Everything's a 3/4 and a 5/6. So it's like,
absolutely,
it's hard. But there are some good. So I did. Yes.
I was going to tell you the specific thing he was telling me about, just pulling it up on my phone. He was playing Cactus Folk Sure Shot, which is 2, a red and a green, for a 4/4 plant mercenary creature with reach, ward 2, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, other creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain trample and haste until end of turn. And whatever it's ridiculous. That's an uncommon. That is an uncommon.
Wild.
And whichever creature he saddled, it was going to get a +2/+2 when it attacked. So he saddled it, went to combat, thinking, oh, it's going to gain trample and haste from the sure shot, but it didn't because he didn't get the plus whatever until he attacked. So then that creature didn't actually have haste, so he couldn't even attack with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, I went to combat, declared my attack, and then read the card again and was like, oh, I can't do that. Like I that creature cannot attack. It's summoning sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it is like if you attack the creature that, saddled gets a 1/1 counter on it, something where it's like, yeah, but it's tapped. So yeah, I put a 1/1 counter on it, but it's
right,
tapped.
but it's not helpful for an entire another turn.
Right.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. So, but now I also ran that mythic horse, and so check out this play. The mythic horse it's like a 4/3 with haste when it with attacks. If it's saddled, make 2 copies of whatever saddled it, and they attack too. So I dropped it out with haste, and I happen to have that 6/5 4-mana worm, that desert worm.
Yep.
I use that to saddle, and suddenly I swang with 6, 12, 16 damage out of nowhere unexpectedly, and
nuts.
Still lost the game.
Nice,
but it was still a cool play.
Of course.
But,
yep.
Yeah. But like so that
so yeah, that has absolutely
scenario.
been my but it's absolutely the one I saw that just seemed to do the absolute least out of all of the new mechanics.
Yeah. How about Spree? What'd you think of those cards?
I think there's some that are really good. I think there's some that are okay. My biggest concern with something like Spree is it's going to be harder for a new player to grasp. There's a lot going on those cards. You don't just look at it and automatically know what it does. You have to understand how it works, and if a new player pulls one of those in a pack, they're not going to be able to immediately grasp the concept of how Spree works.
Yeah, not to mention
that's my biggest concern. Some of the cards are really cool though.
Yeah, when you look in your hand and you see the CMC as 2 mana, and you can't cast it for 2 mana, it's a little bit. Actually, hold on. Let me pause this real quick. My dog came in here and opened. My dog just loves coming in here just to say hello. Then he leaves the door open. I gotta find a noise coming. So anyway, but yeah, so Spree is something that okay. Besides the confusion, I love it. I think it's great to have a modal spell that you choose how modal you want it to be. So a lot of it's really good. They're all good. None crazy yet. There's nothing that I say like this is the one to run, but for limited, it's been great.
I mean, there's the one white one that I think is far and above the best one. Hang on, I will pull it up. Final Showdown. I think Final Showdown is an incredibly good card.
Yeah,
it's it's 1 white, or it's white for an instant, +1. All creatures lose all abilities until end of turn. You can +1 choose a creature you control. It gains indestructible until end of turn. And then 3 white destroy all creatures.
Yeah.
So not only can you get around your opponent's creatures having, keywords like indestructible, you also can save one of your creatures and board wipe at instant speed.
Right. And it's I mean, so my understanding is you can swing out at someone with a shield Shieldred, they block, and then you can just turn it off where everyone loses their abilities, so it doesn't have Death Touch anymore, and hopefully peek through. So there's other ways you could do it than other than the board wipe, but I mean,
yes,
that board wipe.
Yeah, it's because even just for white +1, you can remove all of your creatures or all creatures' abilities until end of turn. So if
Yeah.
you're swinging into Death Touch, or someone's swinging at you with a bunch of flying or trample, you can just turn off their flying and trample and then chump block, or block with things that are on the ground that don't have flying, and save yourself potentially. And that's 2
Yeah.
mana.
Yeah. And there's a lot of
I think
sneaky
it's
shit that happens these days. So
yep. I mean,
turn off
even
that
just
can't be blocked.
yeah, even just a
Menace.
white and 1 to give a creature indestructible until end of turn. I mean, how many decks
Yeah.
play things that save 1 creature? Uh,
Yeah.
there's there's a ton of things that just are there to protect a commander per se.
Yeah. Or late game, you do all of it. You got the mana for it. Go for it.
Yep.
And now you got a beefy creature. Everything's destroyed. The one that they protected with hexproof doesn't have hexproof anymore. And
Yep.
get out of here. So no, that's a good one.
The dream is somebody throws down their their heroic intervention to give all their creatures hexproof and indestructible, and then you follow it up with casting that to remove the hexproof and indestructible from all their creatures.
The dream. Yes. But yeah, that's what we need in Magic right now. Is cards like this. I know it feels powerful, but in order to keep the tennis game going, because power creep is real. We see it in the set. But
Absolutely.
as we have these big creatures, the reaction, not just removal, but also the ability to react and trick and play, and so they're doing it right. It feels balanced, even though it definitely the set feels more powerful.
Yes.
There's that one card also. I'm not even gonna find it. No, that's the thing. Oh, all right. So the other spree that I liked is Dance of the Tumbleweeds, which is a common and has done work for me. So it's a 2 mana card. You can pay 1 to search your library for a basic land card or a desert card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. Deserts are real. In the limited, they can win and help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it also has 3 mana, create an XX green elemental creature token where X is the number of lands you control. So like most of the time it's going to be a 6/6, 8/8 creature that you get while ramping and get that desert. So Dance of the Tumbleweeds has helped me in any limited game I've played, and mainly just to get that extra land, because you do have to run 3 colors. It's not like you can just settle in 2 colors right now. So
yeah, that was the one thing I kept running into, is all of the pools that I was able to get, I had to run a 3rd color. And then that was also one of the issues I was having, was just the fixing wasn't there. So I'd get to a point where it's like, oh man, I'd be okay if I had a 2nd black land.
Yeah.
Which, is always the problem with going 3 colors in any sort of limited.
But that's where the deserts are really coming in too.
Which I now know, and if I do another draft, we'll actually take deserts before they're all gone.
Yeah, because the one that drops in, it's like whatever color. It is what it is. That the other one that you pay 1 to make it any color, and tons of delay. So yeah, deserts are good. The mana fixing is good enough to run 3, and you want to run 3 or at least splash.
Yeah.
My draft that I have right now is actually Grixis, and it's mainly Rakdos. But I have blue in there because I have the new Obeka. I got 2 copies of the new Obeka.
Nice.
Not even that I could use her ability as much as it's a 2/5. I'll do it, whatever.
Yeah.
That's going really well. I've only lost 1 game, and I got 2 victories going. So maybe,
solid.
Yeah, maybe this is where I turn it around.
This is the one.
But all right. Yeah, I need to make my money back for at least one event I've entered. I've entered too many to be losing it all.
Yeah, to lose all of your gold and your
my gems. I had 8.
Yep.
I saved up 8,000 gems over this last season for this, and I just pissed through all.
Blew through it all.
Terrible. Yep. But whatever, it is what it is. So plot, what do you think of plot, man? It's supposed to
Uh,
be like foretell. What do you think?
I think it's better than foretell. I think that's my favorite mechanic in the set. I think it's going to be not something that's going to be game breaking at all, but I think it's going to be super super playable in other formats. Commander specifically is where I've been thinking about it. Um, just the fact that you can spend the mana now and get the card when it might be better to have it. Because how many times are you sitting at your second main phase and you're looking at your hand and you're like, none of this needs to be cast right now, but I've got open mana.
Yeah.
Now you can just be like, all right, well, I don't want to play this card now. Whether that's you're looking at the board and one player's super out of hand and the guy next that goes next is like, hey, don't worry about it. I can take care of the board state. So you're like, oh, there's a board wipe coming. I'm not going to play out another creature, but I've got open mana. You're just like, well, I'll just plot this and I'll play it later. Um, and then even just setting up for more explosive turns where, you got a sorcery in your hand that might play into something later, but right now it's not super helpful. I actually really like the fact that you can spend the mana now and then save the card for when it's actually going to be relevant.
Yeah, and I know that the downside is supposed to be you televising what you're going to do, but I
Yes.
don't feel it as such an issue. Honestly, in some
No.
ways, it being in exile means you spent the mana and you cast it, but it's almost like it's phased out. It's
Yes.
protected, so it can't be
Yep.
removed, and there's no. So it seems almost like what was supposed to be a bad thing isn't quite such a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's too bad. Like,
And I feel
it
like I'm
gives you.
cheating, just throwing it out there for
Yes.
free.
Yep.
So here's a
Hmm.
5/4 free, boom. I love
Yep.
it. And
And
the cards are
I
good.
mean, every set that comes out, I look at something and I'm like, you know what this card is going into? Prosper. Prosper gets fun stuff all the time, and plot is another one of
Gross.
those things that's just going to be so powerful in that deck.
Oh, by golly, I haven't even put that together yet because I just built the Jan Jensen, which is my
Okay.
Cast from Exile deck. And
Yep.
for Junk is kind of what it was built around, but it's ultimately Cast from Exile. And yeah, man, I could put some plot in there for sure. That's a
Hmm.
great
Hmm.
call.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I do want to shout out one plot card that I
Sure.
personally am running in standard. I think it's going to be great. Demonic Ruckus, which is one in a red. It's an uncommon enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has menace and trample. When Demonic Ruckus is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card, and you can plot it for 1. So my big thing about this is I love to run aggro decks. I love to run low Rakdos stuff, and that's what I'm
Right.
currently playing. Right now, it's my disguise deck, and the way I play it is if I don't have my turn 1 Goblin Mask Maker, I just plot this. And then
Okay.
when I drop my first disguised creature, I throw this right onto it. Now it's warded. It's a 3/3 with menace and trample, so it's kind of a threat. It's something they want to remove. And if they remove it, I get card back. If I flip my creature, which is probably the pyrotechnic performer or whatever, and it deals damage equal to her power. So now suddenly she has one more power to deal damage to. She has a menace to actually swing. And when they finally remove her because she's a threat, I get my card back. I think this is a great little card to put into a deck that is low key card draw while also
Yeah.
pumping creatures. And I don't know. Demonic Ruckus is something I'm going to keep on trying.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good. The one that I got that actually pushed me into green my first draft was my rare for the pack, or one of the rares for the pack, was Railway Brawler, which is 3 green green for a 5/5 with reach and trample. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power, and it's got plot 3 and a green. I found multiple times that I would plot it, and on my next turn, because I knew it was going to get removed, every single time it was on the battlefield, it maybe lasted a turn. So I was like, all right, I need to be able to have mana to either protect it or to get a creature out right away. So when they untap and remove it, I'm actually still getting a benefit from it. And the one game I plotted it, passed the turn. Next turn it comes around, I had Overzealous Muscle in my hand, which is
Nice.
4 and a black for a 5/4. Whenever you commit a crime during your turn, Overzealous Muscle gains indestructible until end of turn. So he entered the battlefield and was a 10/9.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
then I was
it's so much.
I was committing several crimes in that game, so he often had indestructible, and I was able to just throw him at people.
Yeah. Yeah. I played with him, and I never got him off. I didn't survive
Really?
long enough to get it going. But I did play against someone, and I'm looking for the card that they played against me. I don't see it on here, so I'm gonna have to explain it. But so they had dropped Railway Brawler, and then they dropped it's like a 4 mana 5/5 with trample that makes 2 food tokens when it enters. And then whenever it attacks, you can sacrifice a food token to return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand, or something like that. Um, but so obviously it was a 4 mana 5/5 that came in that was really a 10/10.
Yeah.
And just right off the bat, it was a 10/10 with trample. And he was only at 6 life, but he got 2 food tokens. So
Oh,
he
yep.
was popping that for some 6 more. So like again, if you don't have removal for that, what do you do with the 10/10 trampler and gaining 6 life?
You lose.
Yeah, promptly and
Actually, no,
aggressively.
you need my favorite card, one of my favorite cards from the set, which is what was it, Ankle Biter?
Yes, so good.
Such a, like, in limited, it is such a good card for just a 1 cost 1/1 with Death Touch.
Yeah. And it can saddle some things up. So like if
Yep.
you have an opportunity, use it for those little one saddles and so my favorite thing I've done so far is I was in this big battle with someone and they didn't and I got rid of all their creatures and they cast Goldbane Hydra, which is
Oh,
the X in a green, and they cast it for like 11 mana. And it just, you saw their mana tap, you see it hovering, and I was able to counter it with some dinky,
mm-hmm.
uncommon, counter spell,
Yeah,
and promptly won.
nice.
But it felt so good because if that would have landed, it would have been game over for me. There's just nothing to
Absolutely.
do about that.
Because that card is
So
incredibly powerful.
yeah, I mean,
My
it's the haste that really is the problem.
yep. And then just giving green a pile of treasures.
Yeah, yeah,
Why are we doing that?
yeah,
Green doesn't need that.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, you managed to get rid of this monster with trample, haste, and vigilance. Well, they're going to be able to play more here.
Yeah, now they're gonna play another one and it's gonna be bigger. So have fun.
Double the size.
So I'd say the most exciting play I had during my draft was I was sitting there with a Rise of the Varmints in hand, which is
Okay.
3 and a green for a sorcery. Create X 2/1 green varmint creature tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. It also has plot 2 and a green. So I'm sitting with it in my hand, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to win this game. I have nothing else. I'm drawing a bunch of lands, and I have 2 creatures in my graveyard. It's not worth casting this right now. It's not worth plotting it. I have enough lands that there's nothing in my hand. I don't want to show them that I have it. So pass the turn, and my opponent hard casts an Archive Trap, which is 3 blue. If an opponent searched their library this turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Target opponent mills 13 cards. So my
Oof.
2 creatures in graveyard went to, it was either 8 or 9. and they had no mana left and passed the turn, and I just turned them all sideways. And I was like, they just gave me the game. But I was like, that felt real good. That was exciting. That's the best that could have ever gone. They thought they were,
Yeah,
doing something really good. We're playing limited, and you're gonna make me mill 13 of my cards, which at that point was more than half my deck. But
dude, it's so funny how mill is such a dangerous thing now because it is. You don't want to lose to mill. It feels bad, but
yes,
also, I mean, you're giving them resources. Don't think
absolutely.
decks aren't taking advantage of the graveyard anymore. So
Yep.
it's a risky game.
Yeah, there's far more ways to play things out of your graveyard now or get things back from your graveyard now than there ever was before.
Yeah.
It's
Well, so
become.
all right, go ahead because I'm going to change the topic
Oh, sure,
after
no, go.
this.
I was just
So
gonna say your graveyard's become a second hand to play out of at this point. Like if you want it to be, that's just a second hand to play.
yeah, exactly. Which let's talk about a little constructed now.
Sure.
Um, I've been wondering what commander I would or will build from Thunder Junction, and
Okay.
it's come down to two for me. And
Sure.
I'm going to mention the weirder one first because it's kind of on theme of what we're talking about. But Doc Orlock, the Grizzled Genius, which is
Okay.
an uncommon. So it's one green, one blue, uncommon bear druid. He's a 2/3, and he says, suppose you cast from your graveyard or from exile, costs two less to cast.
Yep.
Plotting cards from your hand costs two less to cast. I really like this. I really love the mana reduction on all aspects. So it doesn't just have
Yep.
to be plotted, it doesn't just have to be exiled, just
Yep.
graveyard. It broadens it out, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to build this. How do I build this? I mean, you could do foretell, you could do plot, you could do graveyard. It opens
Yep.
up a lot.
Absolutely.
But so my question to you is Simic really the colors to do this, or do you make this a 3-color deck and make him as kind of like the hidden commander? So he is only 2 mana. He's a 2 mana 2/3, which is awesome. Doc
Yep.
Orlock is getting, so you have, I think it's 21 or 23 plot cards. I
Okay.
think you have like 30 something foretell cards.
Yeah. Foretell is where you're
So
gonna find a lot more value.
yeah. And I mean, I guess you can do graveyard too, but really, do you
Yeah.
do you move this up to get white in here?
Green gets you some of your graveyard stuff. Black also gets you more graveyard stuff.
Oh yeah, black, right? Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah,
because
this is
I looked at him too, and I was like, I don't think Simic is where you want to be. So I just
yeah.
kind of moved past because I wasn't going. There's other commanders that I got excited about, so I was like, I'll move past him. I think the correct way to do it is you do need to splash a third color. You could probably build
Yeah.
it in Simic. I just don't think it'll be as good as it could be.
I feel like it would be like pre-con power level, or maybe even not quite, you know.
Potentially.
So it's something I'm interested in. I am gonna continue to dig in, see how I
Yeah.
would build it, and maybe that'll be something that comes to the table. But how about you? Are there any commanders that you are interested
The one that stood out to me the most is Bruce Tarl. I
in?
wanna I
Bruce
wanna get some
Tarl.
I wanna get some Ox. I wanna play Ox. I wanna
Okay.
I wanna I wanna do some silly things here. Let me find him real quick. So Bruce
He's Simic
Tarl is
also, correct?
no, he is Boros.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Tarl is 2 red white for a 4/3 human warrior. Oxen you control have double strike. Whenever Bruce
Yes.
Tarl, Roving Rancher, enters the battlefield or attacks, exile the top card of your library. If it's a land card, create a 2/2 white ox creature token. Otherwise, you may cast it until the end of your next turn.
I like that it's until the end of your next turn. That's a big thing.
Yep. So it's
I love his mustache.
just everything about the art is great. The fact that you're playing Oxen Tribal, which there's no support for, trust me, I looked. But realistically, you're not even trying to cast Oxen. You're more trying to either get the combat trigger, or you're trying to flicker him. So there's a couple different ways that I was looking at it, where like you go extra combats. Again, you play flicker or blink abilities.
I mean, you could even put just a Blade of Selves on him. And although you're
Yeah.
sacrificing the copies, I mean, you're going to get, 2 extra copies. So at least that's an extra trigger,
Yep.
That's, that's a wild one.
Yeah.
You know what this means, though, is buy a bunch of them now, because Wizards of the Coast has some Ox on their mind, and they're going to be bringing it.
Possibly.
This is a setup.
Oh, we're gonna see the cat. The cat's here.
Hey, there it is. Pet friendly podcast.
So no, that's what I've been looking at. I've been looking at a lot of like instance that'll help me like scry, so I can manipulate the top of my library. Obviously, you're gonna want to play things like Sensei's Top, so you can decide what's on top, whether you want to draw the card to cast it, or exile the card to cast it, or if you want to throw that land out so you get an extra 2/2 double strike Oxen on the field.
Not bad. That's not bad.
It seems so dumb, but it seems like fun. So
there's even that card. Whoa! So there's that card from Wilds of Eldraine. It's a 2 mana, just like tokens get +1/+1, something like that.
Yeah.
And now they're 3/3s with double strike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you play Glorious Anthem, Intangible Virtue,
Anointed Procession.
Yeah.
Just suddenly these oxes are a problem. You have a herd of oxes.
That's so the goal. Convenient. That's the dream, is to just have a bunch of ox tokens. There's a few doublers in white, and then there's some combat-y stuff in red. I mean, there's what's that new anthem from from Karlov Manor, the red white anthem that also
War Leader's Call.
Yes.
Yep. Jeez, oh my gosh, yes. War Leader's Call is a problem.
Yep.
I ordered 2 of them. I grabbed them for $6 each. So I got 2 of them. No, I don't know what price they are right now, but I had to pick them up.
Let's take a look. Let's see where we're at. Let's see if you made good MTG finance decisions.
Yeah, I typically not. I'm normally very impulsive and not very well thought out.
Oh, no, you know what? Market price $8.90.
Look at that.
There you go.
Look at that. It's like $4 in my pocket that just materialized for free. It's amazing.
Nope, that you're never going to sell those cards, so it's not like you're actually going to get that money, but we'll keep telling ourselves that we made money.
Yeah, that is what my wife tells me all the time. Is I'll be like, oh, this card's $30. She's like, it's only $30 if you sell it, Michael. Otherwise, it's nothing.
This piece of cardboard is $30. Trust me.
Yeah, that's like, I've been mining Picoin for a few years now. I just, it was a free experiment. I'm mining it and this, that. And the other day I checked and they're valued at $41 a coin. And I have like a lot. I have a lot of them. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But they're unavailable to sell. So it's like I have this valuable coin that is sellable. Yeah. So it's like, is it worth anything? And if it becomes, actually sellable, isn't it just going to drop down to pennies? Because suddenly people are like, oh no.
Immediately.
So it's like, Money's a lie. Value and
Yes.
currency, it's all trash.
Yep.
It's like it's like I don't know. It just doesn't. Every time
I
I think I have money or anything, it doesn't make
It's
sense.
gone. It's immediately gone. I went to Nemesis 2 weeks ago for Commander. It was their opening night. I went and played some Commander, and I walked up to the counter and I was like, "All right, what pack should I buy?" And Tyler, one of the guys who works there, he's like, "All right, well, what are you looking for?" I was like, "I want the most value, like the most value I can get, but I want playable cards because we both know I'm not going to sell them." And he's like, "All right, well, what are you thinking?" And I was like, "Well, I was kind of thinking the Fallout Commanders pack or Fallout Collectors pack because I haven't opened any Fallout." And he's like, "Well, if you're looking for sellable value, there is some really good stuff because if you're looking for stuff to play, you get like 7 or 8 rares in this pack." And I was like, "All right, then I guess I'll open it." And I opened it and I did the math and I lost like $3 in the cards, but I was like, "You know what? It's a win." Like there's like 6 cards out of the pack that I didn't have an immediate plan for where they were going.
Yeah. But maybe one day you'll have a place for it. You know.
Right. So it's just like, all right, I got to open some shiny cardboard and put them into decks that don't really need them, but I have it, so let's use it.
Yeah, I do plan on buying a box of Ixalan. I'm hell bent on it.
Yeah,
Ixalan. Oh my god. Thunder Junction. Yeah, I'm really. I plan on it, but until I get it, I did buy one collector pack of Ixalan,
nice.
uh, and I pulled a foil Chamil,
Okay.
which not. I mean, I don't think I made my money back on the pack, but like Chamil is one of my favorite cards from that set. So the fact that I
Yeah,
got it foiled is
nice.
awesome. Yeah, we talk about Chamil a lot here on brewing.
Yeah,
Me and Joel are converted believers of it. So
nice.
now I got
That's good.
another. But what sucks is I had just gotten the one I ordered, like that within 48
Yep,
hours of me opening it. But
yep.
I'm not complaining. I'll take as many Chamils as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I guess I'm stuck with two. Oh no.
Oh no, now you'll have to
Uh,
find another place to use it.
yeah. So what do you think of this? No, let's finish the commanders because I do want to mention the one that I do
Sure.
actually want to build here, and then we'll move on to standard and all that stuff. So the card that ultimately I want to build the most is Cabal Profiteering Mayor.
Ooh, okay.
1 white, black, 2/4 human advisor. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, create a tapped token that's a copy. This ability only triggers once each turn. Whenever one or more tokens enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I love the thought of if an opponent makes treasure tokens, I get them too. And while I get them, I hurt them. I enjoy
Yeah.
that so much. This is not a build that I haven't built before. This is definitely something I'm
No.
familiar with. I build. It's nothing new for me, but just the way he's offering it, I really
Yeah.
think it'll be fun. There's that gift horse, that horse that gifts out soldiers,
Yep. Yep.
but that means now you get a soldier too.
That's
And when you get
fun.
your soldier, it's going to hurt them. And there's a lot of ways to do that.
There was a cycle of cards, they're older, that they were cheap to cast creatures with high power and toughness, but the reason they were cheap to cast was because they gave your opponents creature tokens when you cast them. Oh, let me see if I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you did. I mean, I can just there's that 3 mana, 2 mana, 3/3 something slaughter from the Crimson Tide block That whenever, when she enters, someone gets 2 creatures, but whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, she gets a 1/1 counter on her. There's Dousing Dagger, where when you play it, someone gets 2 plant tokens, which means you also get 2 plant tokens and deal 2 damage and gain 2 life. And it's like so good.
All
So,
right. It was it was the ones you'd be able to play is Hunted Horror, which is black for a 7/7 horror creature with trample. When it comes into play, put 2 3/3 green centaur creature tokens with protection from black into play under target opponent's control. So you
I
pay
love
2
it.
black, you get a 7/7 with trample, and 2 3/3 green centaurs with pro black. And one opponent gets 2 3/3 centaurs. Then there's the white one, which is Hunted Lamassu, Lammasu, sure, which is a
Sure.
2 white for a 5/5 with flying. When it comes into play, put a 4/4 black horror creature token into play under target creature's control. So you
Yeah,
get a
that
5/5
sounds.
flyer and a 4/4 horror. That's
Yeah,
fun.
man. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's those. See, those are 2 perfect cards for
Yes.
what Kambal wants to do, and it's fun. And I've been a group player, a group hug player for a long time, and this is kind of
Yep.
a false group hug where it's like I'm
Yeah.
giving everyone token, but clearly, it's not even covered. You see right away that it's not actually helping anyone. But I'll
Yeah.
make that joke throughout every game I play him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm giving you things. Why are you attacking
Yeah,
me? I'm just giving you things.
yeah. Anyway, are you going to pay for smothering tithe? Because I'm a profiteering mayor. I need to make treasure
Exactly.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I get that treasure, it deals 1 damage to them, and I gain. Oh my god! Yes.
Yep.
All right, Kambal's getting built 100%.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
That's gonna be an
Yeah.
awful deck to
All
play against.
right. Yeah. I mean, okay. So the other thing too is I will be giving people treasure tokens. So there's always a chance when you're ramping and giving your opponents resources that they'll take advantage of it better than you can. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give everyone a chance.
Yep.
But it should be fun. There's nothing else in
I
the
like
deck
it.
in the set. Well, let me ask you your opinion on Riku of the Many Paths for Commander before we move on to Standard. Riku of the Many Paths is the green, blue, red 3/3. It's the modal spell commander. Whenever you cast a modal spell, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a modal mode for that spell. And then you can, this has a set of modes of exile the top card of your library until the end of turn. You may play it, put a 1/1 counter on Riku. It gains trample until end of turn, or create a 1/1 blue bird token with flying. Do you think that this is worth it and powerful? Is this actually a commander that is worth playing?
Powerful? Probably not. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be low powered. I don't think it's gonna be anything that overly powerful. Potentially fun. I think it could be fun depending on how you build it. I also think it could be not terribly fun to play against. Because realistically, what's your win con? How are you planning on winning with this deck?
Oh, so if I was to build this, I would probably do something like gutter snipes and kind of spell storms. Maybe like arcane bombardment or a thousand
Okay.
year storm, or
Okay.
something like that, where people will concede before everything finishes resolving. Because if I tell you you have 7 copies of a modal spell, and during
Right.
each one of those resolutions, I'm also going to have my commander do modal spells. And then at the end of
Right.
all of this, he's going to be like a 15/15 with trample that's going to kill you. Like, but is that fun? Is that
I don't
fun?
think it is. I don't think that's
Oh,
fun.
I kind of think it is. It might
Personally,
be.
I don't think that's fun.
Yeah.
See, for
Oh,
me,
okay.
it'd be more, I'd be like, I'm making birds, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make the modal spells make the birds win me the game.
Okay. Oh, okay. And yeah, I say it's fun, but honestly, it's fun in theory. But when you're sitting there and your turn is taking 15 minutes, you're only going to do
Yeah.
that so many times before you just break up this deck and say, okay, I got what I wanted out of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, it's almost like
I
a
think
Super
out of
Friends deck,
these three
but worse.
color, oh yeah, yeah. I think out of these three color legendary creatures, my favorite is Obeka. I know we talked about her a little bit before, but she's 1 green, black, red for a 2/5 with menace. Whenever Obeka Splitter of Seconds deals combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phase. That's my favorite out of the three color ones.
Yeah. I've never taken advantage of the upkeep. Joel had mentioned this in the last episode, and I had
Mhm.
kind of said, I don't I don't take advantage of the upkeep. I don't even know how to. Um, is there is I say, is there anything you could do about it? But if you have 4 upkeeps and one of your upkeeps is like the Scarab God, where it's like
Yeah.
deal damage equal to your zombies, and you happen to have 4 zombies, well, suddenly
Yep.
that's 4 times 4, which is 19. So
Yes.
it's it's
Oh,
dangerous.
now I got to remember the card. I
It's
had a
not
card in.
19. It's not 19.
What was that?
Oh, I said 4 times 4 is 19. I needed to confirm that I know
Oh,
it's not
it's
19. I was just
it,
throwing a number
it
out.
is not.
17.
All right. Well, because I can't remember the card I'm thinking of. Let's go to her EDH rec and see if it tells me what I'm thinking of here. Okay, the courts. Um, this one is Court of Ambition. It's
Yes.
2 black black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your
Oh
upkeep, each
no.
opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card. If you are the monarch, instead, each opponent loses 6 life unless they discard 2 cards. So now, usually, you cast that, you become the monarch, you have a full rotation before it gets to your upkeep,
Oh
and you have to
yeah.
hold on to the monarch. Now, you cast that on your first main phase, go to combat, get 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 combats, however much you've pumped up Obeka. Now you have how many triggers of that where you are the monarch. And that's
Yeah.
just the one court. There's 2 other courts. Uh, Embereth, it gets you night tokens, and if you're the monarch, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of creatures you control. Court of Ire deals
Yeah.
2 damage. If you're the monarch, it deals 7 damage to that player or permanent instead.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
you can do a lot of stuff like that. I think a lot of um, there's there's a lot of courts, but there's a lot of stuff like that where it's at the beginning. Right here, extravagant replication. It's 4 blue blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of another target non-land permanent you control. If you have
Yeah.
those courts out, you're now making a copy of that, and you're doing that every single upkeep. Even something like Phyrexian Arena, upkeep trigger. So you're on your
Yeah.
second, third, fourth, fifth upkeeps, you're just drawing more cards.
Yeah. So,
I think that's
so
a
I was
silly.
just checking this.
It's a silly
I was just
commander.
checking this. Dude, I'm all on board for this too. Honestly, I was just thinking harmonic prodigy is something I use in Quark because it's a strionic resonator, but you don't have to pay for it as long as it is
Right.
and I thought it was shaman, wizard, or warlock, which would count Obeka, which means
Right.
Obeka's trigger would happen twice. So whatever you get, double the amount of upkeeps. But I just checked; it is only shaman or wizard, no warlock in it,
Mm,
which is a bummer. But you can
okay.
still try strionic resonator or do
Yep.
something like that in order to get it going.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, the Ires, all the courts. I mean,
Yep.
that's real. That's fun. Um, Jeez,
Yeah, it's
and
silly. It's a silly
the
commander.
artwork is nice.
Yes, that's one of the
Oh,
things with this set
Becca.
too. is the artwork is really solid. It's definitely goofy, and some of it's really silly. Everyone has cowboy hats on, but like it's fun artwork.
Yeah, and they have a nice spread of it. It has a little something for everyone, which is obviously what Wizards is trying to do right now. They
Yep,
are trying to reach the broadest audience they can,
yep,
and they are sacrificing some in order to reach more.
yep,
It's something I've been thinking about lately, but at the end of the day, why not? If
yeah,
something comes out that I don't like, there is so much coming that it's like,
yep,
well, they just ignore it, keep going,
yep,
and someone else loves it. But I
yeah.
mean, Becca, that artwork, dude, she is a babe. That is, I love it. I love Becca. Awesome. Never what I thought. I don't know if it's the pink red hair. I don't know what it is. I'm a fan.
If we're shouting out artwork, uh,
Yeah.
pull up. Where did it? Oh, I just lost it. I just had it. Pillage the Bog.
Pillage the bog. All right.
Yep, that artwork. The artwork is sick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's sharp. That's
Yeah,
some rest in peace, Seb McKinnon. Because this is like a Seb McKinnon style and how it's like, balanced where one thing's happening and the
it's
other thing is
similar.
coming through. Yeah, but I mean, such clear and vibrant colors on that. That is gnarly.
It's yep. That's one that would
Damn.
look really nice with an extended artwork. Borderless on that would look real
Oh,
good on
yeah.
that card.
Yeah, because I mean, the bottom half of the card would be just bubbling skulls in that bright green.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be
Yep.
cool.
Keep the top half nice and crisp and sharp, and the bottom half just like decaying.
Yeah. Yeah. And extend like the purple, the spines like coming through everything.
Yep.
I wish I had more time to do altars. I'm still so caught up on the
Understandable.
knives. My knife show finished. I still have 7 knives that I have to make by like next week. I'm dying. I'm dying. There's just too much going
Nice.
on. And all while I'm trying to work a job that's, almost 3 hours away
Oh.
and trying to balance the family and
Yep.
the knife show. I have 2 podcasts going.
Yep.
We're almost there. We're almost out of it. This is just a busy season. It is what it is.
Yes, that's what it is. And I would like to shout out my favorite card for Commander in the entire set. It is the one that I need to get like 5 copies of, and that is Tower Winder. Is my favorite card in the set.
That's the one from Commander that gets the command
It
towers, right?
gets you a command tower. It enters the battlefield, and you search your library for a command tower. It is a 2
Yeah.
cost. I think it's a 2/1 with Death Touch. Let me just double check that before I say that's my final answer. Is it 1 in a green for a 1/1 snake with reach and Death Touch? And when it enters, you search your library and or graveyard for command tower, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. It's my favorite
Yeah,
card.
bro. That's as Commander as it gets. It's
Nope.
just, it's good.
Just
It's
get a
some
command.
good stuff.
See, the thing that's really cool about it is because you take a card like Sakura Tribe Elder, which is a staple commander card. That you have to sacrifice it, and then you get the basic. This you automatically get command tower to your hand, and then you got a 1/1 with Death Touch and Reach that you can block with, and it'll actually take care of something. Because Sakura Tribe Elder,
Yeah.
you block and then sacrifice, so it doesn't get rid of anything. This is still going to give you something your opponent's attacking with.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's so efficient, so good. And every deck is going to have a command tower. It's
Yep.
even worth it putting in monocolored decks.
I've
it's not a
I've made
problem.
the decision that every deck I ever build is going to play a command tower, whether it's monocolored or not, because it doesn't hurt you to have it. Generally,
Yeah.
sometimes to have it.
In the smallest of
Yes.
scenarios, you know.
Yes. Let's see.
It's
Let's
not a
see what
problem.
the Tower Winder is currently selling for, because it was surprisingly expensive when I looked at it before.
Well, that's the thing too, is a lot of the cards in this set are actually more than $1, even with this current drop. It's pricey.
It was pre-selling at $10. It is down to $3.30 for market.
That's not bad.
Nope,
I mean,
not at
that's
all.
like buying a Swiftfoot boots or something for your deck,
Yep.
you know. I like it. Oh my god, my dog's trying to get in from every door in this room now. I don't know if it picks up in the mic, but he's
Nope.
scratching it. Oh,
I heard
okay.
that one.
Okay. Yeah,
That
he's
one I
going
heard.
for it. Yeah. No, I listen. I'm excited for this set.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a lot of, clearly it has a lot of commander applications.
Yes, 100%.
We'll see about standard. I don't follow meta standard. I only do my jank standard.
Right.
So what I run into
Right.
is what I think standard is.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be going to the standard champion at Nemesis on, I don't know. It's good, whatever day it is. It's going to be a Saturday, but Troy
Okay.
wants to go to it, so I'm building
Oh,
a
nice.
deck. I am going to go there. I'm ready to
Nice.
play against a whole bunch of Esper control decks and get my booties clapped there. But we'll see. I'm going to bring my Rakdos disguise
Mm-hmm.
and see if I could just run underneath them and get out of meta.
So I will say, the last time they did one, Nick did go, and he said it was a good mix of people playing more casually and people playing more competitively. So
Okay, awesome.
you may have a decent mix of people playing, the meta decks and people playing weird jank budget fun stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear because I know that he's been drawing in a really good, competitive crew, and I don't know how to hold up against that. Again, I'm showing up. My TCG order is
I haven't
$11 for 24 cards. Like that's what my standard deck costs.
nice.
The most
I
expensive
haven't
card
tried
is
playing.
Great Command.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't tried actually playing standard in several pre-COVID. Pre-COVID was the last time I tried
Yeah.
actually playing standard, so I got no idea where it's at.
Well, listen, Kelvin, this is the best standard I've played since I would say since Origins, only because that's very fond of when I started and everything. But like honestly, I think this
Right.
is the best standard set I've ever been in. Even when War of the Spark was part of the standard, because Guilds was one of my favorite little blocks with Guilds and Spark, War of the Spark. This
Yep.
is better than that. This is really, truly the Wild West. The Wild West, where you can play, where you can play anything you want, and it is applicable. There's every, we've done a few episodes on, if it's a critical mass that's a little too much, whether 3 years is too long, and everything. And I could have that combo every week, and still at the end of the day, I'm playing it nonstop. So that must say more than any of my hypocritical words I could. It's so, and I've got 9 decks or something like that I play in rotation, so
nice.
It's not like I got my 3 decks and I'm doing it. Whatever you want to play, it's all doing it. So
nice.
I hope you get into the arena a little bit more. I'd like to see people building up their libraries. That way, when it gets big, you got your library.
Post wedding, I'm considering putting a little more time into Magic, but right now I just don't have the time to put into it. So, but I've been considering getting the standard a little bit.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh man, what a weight off your shoulders once you're through this. And we're so close, man. We're so
So
close.
close, so close.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, listen, is there anything else you want to say about Thunder Junction, or just can
I,
shit talk me on how I play Commander? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
no, just I was really excited to come on because I have a card for Fun or Trash, and I want to see what you think about it. That's
Oh, that's what I said. I'm drinking too much. We're gonna have to sign off because of how saucy I'm getting. So, all right, hit me. What do you got for your fun or trash? Let's do it.
Let's do Fun or Trash, and then we'll call it an evening. And all right, hang on, I got to get to it. All right, ready? So this is a card that when I was at Nemesis playing a couple weeks ago, was playing with not Nick that you know. I mean, you might know this Nick too, but he's another Magic player. He's very good. He plays a lot of high-powered stuff, but he also um, likes to play weird, fun things. For example, at one point in Pioneer, he was playing a deck that was entirely dual-faced cards, and they were all foil. And he had his entire deck was sleeved up placeholder cards, and each placeholder card was marked with a number. And he had all of the actual foil dual-faced cards in hard sleeves in a separate box that he built to store it. Because it was his complaining about foils curling. So he used all uh, placeholder cards, official placeholder cards, in order to have all of his foils in the hard plastic sleeves. The deck
Bro, that is
technically
the
worked.
most Magic the Gathering player shit I've ever heard in my
Oh, dude, it
life.
was great. It was so good. He like, I I got paired against him the first round, and I know he's a good player. I know he plays competitively, and I was like, great. This is my first time playing Pioneer. I literally have not played the format before. I just threw this deck together. It's an elf deck based off of my old modern deck. This is going to be awful. And he's like, trust me, it's not going to be bad. And I was like, all right, what are you playing? And then he explained what he was playing, and I was like, all right, this is fantastic. Um, but so we sit down to play Commander, and he's like, all right, I'm playing a Bears deck. And we're like, okay. He goes, but I am going to warn you, there's some really high powered cards in here. I'm like, okay. Dude played a Chains of Mephistopheles on us.
it
Yeah,
that's pricey, right? Isn't that?
that's several $1,000s. Yeah, very
Oh
expensive.
my god.
So this deck was full of these super high end things, but it was just to make his bear tribal work, which it didn't end up working. But he played this card, and when he cast it, he read it, and both our friend Nick and I kind of like stopped because we were waiting for there to be a different, like another clause to the card. But what it is Kamal's Summons. It is 3 and a green for a sorcery. Each player may reveal any number of creature cards from his or her hand. Then each player puts a 2/2 green bear creature token into play for each card he or she revealed this way.
Okay, so 4 mana for everybody to
Yep.
reveal their hand, and then everyone gets a bear for whatever creature
Creatures.
got revealed.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay.
They
So
only
let me
reveal the
clarify.
creatures.
Every player can choose what they reveal. So it isn't
Yes.
everyone choose it.
Correct.
And whatever you reveal, they get a 2/2 bear for every creature that was shown.
Yep. No. You get a bear for each creature you showed. So if I show 2 creatures from my hand, I get 2 bears. If you show 3 creatures from your hand, you get 3 bears. If Joel shows 1 creature, he gets 1 bear. Everybody gets bears.
So I'm paying 4 mana to give everybody bears.
Uh huh.
Hmm.
but you're also seeing what's in people's
Sell it to
hands.
me because I'm going to say trash. You got to sell this to
No,
me.
no, no. See, I'm not saying it's a good card. I'm saying it's a fun card.
All
So,
right, all
so
right.
here's the thing: like, you're gonna get to see things that are in players' hands, or you're just gonna get buried. So, I cast Kamal Summons. I'm playing. Probably if you're playing that, you're playing Vanilla Tribal. You're playing something where having 2/2s is relevant. So I'm gonna show you my hand. If I'm playing Vanilla Tribal, I don't care if you see that I have 3/2/2 creatures in my hand that cost me 2 to cast. Makes no difference that you see them. You know those are the creatures I'm gonna play. So I'm paying 4, getting 3/2/2s. Then it gets to your turn to show your cards. You're either not getting any value off of it by not showing me what's in your hand, or you're showing me what's in your hand and now giving me information. My 2/2s are going to be more valuable to me because I'm building around those 2/2s. Again, you're not playing this card in a random, green deck that you want to have creatures. You want those 2/2s to be of value to you. So there's 2 different vanilla tribal commanders that are both going to take huge advantage of that because they're creatures with no abilities.
Okay. All right. So that explains a lot better. So ultimately, it's you. The question needs to be how many bears are you personally going to get when you cast it? So ideally, it's 2 or 3 bears. Is probably what you're going
Yeah,
to get.
I'd say even if you get
Okay.
2, that's right on par with a normal bear.
Yeah.
A 2/2
So
for
okay.
2.
Right. So okay. So ultimately, let's say you pay the 4 mana, you get minimum 2 bears for yourself.
Sure.
Maybe 1 or 2 other people get a bear. You get a little bit of information, and you move on with your bears. Um,
Yep.
it works. It's good. If only it played with Kumbal, the profiteering mayor, because
Yep.
then you would make the bears,
Yep.
and as other people made their bears, you get
Yep.
bears
Yep.
too. But I I want to say trash because I don't think I'm ever going to cast
It's
this.
so
But I see
absurd.
where if this happens, if you are running some sort of token deck or
Mhm.
something, I can see where this could low key be this card that people think it's a joke and they're like, well, I'm not showing
Yeah.
anything. I'm not showing anything. I'm not showing anything. And then suddenly you end up with 4 bears yourself,
Yep.
or everyone's like, well, I'll take bears, and suddenly you have everyone's knowledge
Yep, you
and
know
everyone.
exactly what creatures are coming.
So yeah, so the
In
question
a
too
bear
is like, do
tribal deck.
you yeah, do
Okay.
you show your hand? Like, let's say you have a whole bunch of, let's say I'm playing, I don't know, Toolbox Torre,
Sure.
and I have all these wild cards. Is it worth it to give up that information for a 2/2 bear? Am I gonna do you give it up when it was cast? Did you show your hand for the bears?
Absolutely. I showed 2 creatures from my hand and got 2 bears
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
at that moment there had been a board wipe cast, so no one had or not sorry, not a board wipe. There was a Cyclonic Rift cast, so one person had creatures and no one else had creatures on the board. So I needed blockers.
And you had everything in
So I
hand. Okay,
so I
that's fair.
gladly showed. I didn't have many creatures in hand, but I gladly showed what I could and got bears.
Yeah. Well, you really sold that. So you showed the right deck to play it in. You showed the right scenario where a cyclonic rift just happened to
Yep.
cast it. So in that scenario, that's all fun right there. That's
So
a very
the
good time.
the 2
I'm
vanilla
sorry.
tribal commanders are Jasmine, Boreal of the Seven, which is 1 a green and a white for a 2/4 human druid. Tap to add green white. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells with no abilities. Creatures you control with no abilities can't be blocked by creatures with abilities. And then the other common vanilla tribal commander is Ruxa, Patient Professor, which is 2 green green for a 4/4 bear druid. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, Return target creature with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. Creatures you control with no abilities get +1/+1. You may have creatures you control with no abilities assign their combat damage as though they weren't blocked. So in those decks, you're getting so much more value off of those 2/2s than the person sitting across from you playing what's his name? 5 boots.
Those 5 boots. Yeah, the slime.
Yep.
Was that finger the 5 boots? I don't know. Find it. So
Now I gotta find his name.
Nick plays the
Felix.
vanilla committer. Felix.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
Nick plays the vanilla, and he played it against me.
Okay.
I underestimated it. I thought, well, it's vanilla creatures. It's not scary. +2/+2 isn't too much of a problem. That's what my mind processed. And then he swung out at me, and I blocked. And I'm like, haha, I'm gonna kill all your stuff. And he goes,
and he's just
I don't care because all the damage is going to you anyway.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh shit.
When we played against that Kamal Summons, Nick's first response was, how much is that card? Because I need to buy one. Because again, we're playing against a guy playing Chains of Mistopheles, so we're like, oh great. I believe it is about so it was only printed once, and it was in Onslaught, but I believe it's about a 30-cent card.
Yeah, I already Googled it. 35 cents, I think, was the copy that I saw. I don't plan on buying one, but you sold it. That is some fun shit. In its own fun. Rights and where it is. Yeah.
Not good in 98% of the situations. It's a bad card. But when it's good, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Bears. Hey, that's the Magic backbone right there. Bears and goblins. I think that's how Magic was made. A bear and a goblin loved each other very much, and the multiverse was born from it. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Judged.
Oh, dude, they filmed that. Anyway, I think that's the bottom of the glass, my man.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom of the glass. Well, thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. I hopefully will have you on again soon.
Sounds good.
Even if I don't know how this system works. Maybe I can get all 3 of us on, and we'll have a real brewathon. But we'll see what's up. Maybe we can even record Commander games. We'll figure out how all this works. But
yeah, definitely.
Right now, it was good to get you on, man, and hopefully we'll be playing some soon. So you have a good one.
You too.
Take it easy, and I will see you soon.
See you soon.